So Taylor, what advice would you give to a parent who's come to this site looking for tuition for their child for the 11 plus?
Well, the first piece of advice I would give, and probably the most important, is this, that grammar schools are designed for children who are academically very able, meaning in roughly the top 25% of the ability range. And the 11 plus exam is designed to try to select children who have high academic potential within that range. So the first piece of advice is keep that in mind. That's what grammar schools are for. And so do you, as the parent, have reason to believe that your child is academically very able? And if so, what reason do you have? Now, that's not completely straightforward, because sometimes children who are doing well in their primary schools are not academically very able, or they don't have high academic ability. And more often it's the other way around, is that children who are not doing particularly well in their junior school, they do have high academic potential, which just hasn't yet been brought out, but which a good 11 plus exam may pick up on. So that's the first criterion, is do you have reason to believe that your child has high academic ability, and if so, what reason or reasons do you have for believing that? Now, if the answer to the question is yes, I do have reasons, and these are my reasons, then I would say proceed on to the next step. And the next step is grammar school an option for me or for my child because of where I live? Because most of this country does not have grammar schools. And so it isn't an option, but then there are grammar schools dotted around. Some counties have a lot of them, and then others have just a few, and others have none within, if you like, striking distance. And even areas that do have grammar schools, sometimes those grammar schools operate what we call admissions areas or catchment areas as we understand them, which would preclude you. And therefore, you want to be aware of what grammar school options, if any, are available. And if they're not available in your area, would you seriously consider moving into an area where grammar school is an option on the chance that your child might get into one of them? So the second question that parents should ask is grammar school even an option? Now, if the answer to both those questions is yes, so first, your child does have high academic ability or potential, and secondly, yes, grammar school is an option, then the third question is, what is plan B? And what I mean by that is, what would you do to cater for your child's needs, educational needs, if they don't get into a grammar school? Now, that's very important to understand, is not every child who, if you like, would fit into a grammar school is going to get into a grammar school. And the reason is because it's based on the outcome of a test taken on one day. And even if a child is academically very able, and they're very well prepared for the exam, and they're doing brilliantly in the run-up to the exam, on the day of the exam, their performance might not actually reflect any of those things, and they may miss out because they did poorly on that day, because it's based on performance. So it is quite possible that a child who really would have done well in a grammar school doesn't get to a grammar school despite preparing thoroughly for it. So parents then should consider, what is plan B?
So basically there are three main points here. First of all, does your child have academic potential? Can they be benefited by a grammar school place? Secondly, are there grammar schools in your catchment area, or are you within the catchment area of a grammar school? And finally, what if? What if something goes wrong on the day, they're not performing at their best for whatever reason, and they don't get into a grammar school? What's your plan B? And those are the three main things you'd suggest they think about.
I think those are the first three things that parents who are looking at 11 plus tuition should consider.
Okay. And if you'd like to find out more about the courses available or just have some questions about the 11 plus, then give Sir Taylor or one of his colleagues a call on the number provided through the Contact Us button.